Hello and welcome to the RMIT Group Fitness online program presented to you by RMIT Sport and Fitness. My name is Sandra and I will be instructing you for a 30-minute Have the Flow class today. It's great to have you involved and I hope you enjoy the class. Namaste. So again, we're coming back onto our hands and knees. So I'm going to keep those feet hip distance apart, the wrists come in line with the shoulders, the fingers are spread out wide. So we come inhale, so we're lifting up the chin, our tailbone's lifting as we exhaling. We want to tuck the tailbone under, tucking the chin to the chest. So inhaling, lifting the chin, the tailbone's lifting, exhaling, tucking the tailbone under, tucking the chin to the chest. And last one, inhaling, so we're lifting up the chin, the tailbone's lifting, and then exhaling. We tuck the tailbone under and we want to tuck the chin to the chest. And we're just coming back onto our hands and knees. So reaching hands up towards the top of the mat. So we keep the fingers spread out wide, uncurling the toes. And we're coming into our Adho Mukha, so we want to come into our down dog and come back onto the balls of our feet, and we can release, and we onto the balls of the feet, and we release, and we onto the balls of our feet, and we release, and start to pedal our feet out, so we can bend the right knee, we start to bend the left knee, so we start to waken up the body, and we're just staying back into our downward. So if the heels can't reach, you can just keep those knees bent, but keep the eye gaze to the navel. So as you take those exhales through the nose, you want to start to draw the belly in. So bring the feet together. So you want to raise your right leg. So bend into the right knee, keep the right foot flexed. So you want to move that hip over towards that right side. And keep those shoulders onto the same level. And then we can release, placing both feet together. So left leg rises, bend into the left knee, shifting that left hip. So we want to keep that left foot flexed. And just staying here for another breath. And then we can release. And then we can walk, slowly start to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. And we interlacing the hands behind the back as we exhaling, we want to come forward. So we're reaching those arms overhead and just keep the crown of the head down towards the mat. And then release here, placing both hands onto the ankles. So we just want to massage those legs, keep the core engaged. We can slowly start to make our way up, let that head come up last, just giving those legs a shake, and we can give those shoulders a shake. So we want to bring the soles of the feet together, coming into our Tadasana. So we're coming into our mountain pose, so keep the tailbone slightly tucked under, and we bring the palms of the hands together, and we keep the crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're taking the arms out beside us. So inhale, we want to reach the arms, bring the palms of the hands together into Anjaya Mudra. So coming into our back bend. As we exhale, we're coming forward. Inhaling, we come in halfway. As we exhale, we're placing both hands back onto the mat. We step back with our right leg. We step back with our left leg. So we're coming into our down dog. Just again, we're coming up into a high plank, so we're coming into our danda, so onto the balls of the feet, dropping those knees as we exhale. We take the chest onto the mat, keep the tailbone lifting. As we inhale, we're just coming into our cobra. So onto the knees, or you can uncurl the toes, coming back into Adho Mukha, so coming back into our down dog. Right leg rises into our three-legged downward dog. So right foot comes in between the hands, and then left foot as we inhale, as we reach in the arms, we bring the palms of the hands together. Exhaling, we're coming back into our heart center, back into our Samastiti. As we exhale, Arms come out beside us. So inhale, reaching arms into our back bend. As we exhale, we want to fold forward. Inhaling, coming halfway. As we exhale, we take both hands back onto the mat. We step back with the left leg. We step back into our right leg. So we're coming into Adho Mukha, so into our down dog, coming into high plank, so coming into our danda, so onto the balls of the feet. Dropping knees as we exhaling, we're taking the chest onto the mat, keep the tailbone lifting onto your belly. As we inhaling, we come into our upward facing dog again. We just want to keep those shoulders relaxed. So options, you can either come onto the knees, you can uncurl the toes and back into Adho Mukha, so onto a down dog. As we inhaling, we raise our left leg up into our three-legged downward dog. So taking left foot in between the hands and then right foot as we inhale. We're reaching arms, bring the palms of the hands together. Exhaling, we're coming back into our heart center, coming back into Samasthiti. So we just stay here just for a few breaths. And as we exhale, we're taking the arms out beside us. So inhale, we're reaching arms, bring the palms of the hands together. As we exhale, we want to come forward. Inhale, we come in halfway. As we exhale, we take both hands back onto the mat and we're just stepping back into Adho Mukha. So we want to step back into our down dog. As we inhaling, right leg rises. So taking right foot to the top of the mat, we're onto the ball of our left foot. And as we inhale and keep the core engaged, we're coming into Anjaya Mudra. And we just want to hold here, keep the right knee bent. As we exhale, we're reaching those arms out behind us. So we want to come forward. And then inhaling as we reaching arms, pivot the back leg, coming into Viratu. So coming forward with the hips, reverse, exhaling, we're reaching the left arm up to the ceiling. And then back into Viratu, so taking left elbow to left thigh as we want to reach that left arm over the ear. So just goes over towards that left armpit. And then inhaling Viratu, exhaling reverse. And then taking both hands back onto the mat and we can step back into our down dog. As we inhaling, left leg rises. So taking left foot to the top of the mat and we onto the ball of the right foot as we inhaling Anjaya, bringing the palms of the hands together. So we're coming up into our Crescent Lunge. Keep the left knee bent. And then reaching those arms out behind you. So we want to come forward with the chest. So onto the ball of the right foot. As we inhaling, we're reaching arms. As we exhale, we pivot that right foot. Keep the left knee bent. We're coming into Viratu. So forward the hips, reverse, exhaling. We're reaching the left arm up to the ceiling. Then inhaling back into Viratu, left elbow into left thigh. As we're reaching for that right arm over the ears, we just want to gaze towards that right armpit. And then inhaling and then exhaling. And then taking both hands back onto the mat. And we just want to step back into Adho Mukha. So we want to come back into our down dog and we can start to pedal those feet out. So options here again, you can bend the knees, you can jump lightly up towards the top of the mat, or you can walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. As we inhaling, as we reach in arms, we bring the palms of the hands together, exhaling, coming back into Samasthiti. And we just want to hold here. We just want to hold here just for a few breaths. And then we can take that left leg out wide. So we want to come into a high malasana. So keeping those soles of the feet. So you want to keep those feet about onto a 45 degrees. Keep the tailbone tucked under. And we want to bend into those knees. And just taking your hands into your heart center. And just rocking your hips from side to side. And then we want to come back to center, placing both hands onto those knees. And we can just rock gently from side to side. And then coming back to center. So taking an inhale. And as we exhaling, we want to bend into the right knee. We want to keep that left foot flexed. And we take our hands just back into our heart center. And just use the breath. Keep that eye gaze steady. And then taking both hands onto the mat, we come back to center, and then exhaling, we bend into the left knee, we keep the right foot flexed, and we just bring those hands back into our heart center, and we just want to hold here just for a few breaths. And then taking both hands back onto the mat, we're coming back to center, taking both hands onto the mat so if the palms of the hands can't reach, you want to take those legs out wider. You can just bend into that right knee and we bend into that left knee. And then coming back to center, so pivot those toes in, reaching those arms behind you, so exhaling. We just want to come forward. Keep the crown of the head reaching down towards the mat. And taking those arms, we want to take those arms overhead and we just stay here just for a few more breaths. And then releasing, so we're taking both hands back onto the mat. So we walk those hands up towards the top of the mat and we want to step back into our down dog. And again, you can just start to pedaling out those feet. So bending right knee, and then bending that left knee. And again, options, you can bend both knees, you can lightly jump up towards the top of the mat, or you can walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. Bringing those hands up beside you as you inhale. So we're reaching the arms, bringing the palms of the hands together, and then exhaling. We're coming back into Namaste. So staying here. We just resting here just for a couple of breaths. And then taking those arms up beside you so you can just giving those legs a shake. So again, we can take that right ankle just above the left knee. We want to bend into the left knee. Bring those hands back into our heart center as we exhaling. We just want to take those elbows onto that right knee and just hold here. Keep that right foot flexed. And then inhaling as we're coming back to center, as we exhale, we're coming back into our Vira 3. So keep that left foot grounded, keep that right foot flexed down towards the mat, and keep those hands back into your heart center. And just try to keep those eyes focused. And then we can release, taking that foot onto the top of the mat, giving those legs a shake. And again, picking up that left knee. So we want to take that left ankle just above the right knee. So bend into the left knee. As we exhaling, you can take those elbows just onto that left knee. And we just want to hold here just for a few breaths. And then inhaling as we're coming back to center, as we exhaling, we're taking that left leg out behind. Keep that left foot flexed down towards the mat and keep that right leg straight. And just keep your eye gaze just down towards the mat. And then inhaling. And then releasing and just giving those legs, and give those legs a shake. So again, we're coming back into our tree. So keep the groundiness of the left foot. So we want to take that right foot so you can either just rest it back onto your ankle, you can rest it back onto the shin, or you can bring it onto your inner thigh, or if you have more open, you can take it into your half lotus. So taking the palms of the hands together, keeping that left foot grounded as we inhale. So we're reaching arms up to the ceiling. And as we exhale, we want to bring the thumb and the first finger, but keep those shoulders relaxed. And if you have your balance, then you can slowly start to twist over to your right side. And then we come back to center, and then we can slowly start to twist over to our left side. And then we're coming back to center. And as we inhaling, we reach in arms. So if you can ice follow those hands, we bring the palms of the hands together, and then exhaling back into your heart center, so back into Samasthiti. And then we can release, just giving those legs a shake. And then picking up the left foot, so placing it back onto your ankle. You can rest it back onto the shin, inner thigh, or if you have more open, you can come up into a half lotus. So right foot stays grounded, the hands will come back into your heart center. As we inhale, we reach in arms up to the ceiling, and as we exhale in, we want to bring the thumb and the first finger, but keeping those shoulders relaxed. And if you have balance, you can slowly start to twist over to your left side. And then we can come back to center, and then we can slowly start to twist over to our right side. And then slowly start to come back to center. As we inhale, as we reach arms, bring the palms of the hands together, and then exhaling back into our heart center, so back into Samasthiti. And we can release, just giving those legs a shake. And as we step up towards the top of the mat, so hands will come back into our heart center. As we exhale, the arms will come out beside us. So inhale, reaching arms, bring the palms of the hands together into our back bend. As we exhale, we come in forward, inhaling, coming halfway. As we exhale, we take both hands onto the mat, so you can either bend the knees, you can jump back into a plank, you can step back into your plank, or you can just come straight into your down dog. So again, from here, we drop both knees back onto the mat, and we just rest the elbows onto the mat. So just keeping those elbows, we're going to keep in shoulder distance apart. And then just raising those knees off the mat. So you want to still stay into that same plane. So try to keep those hips in line with the spine. If it's available, you can start to raise that right leg. And then release in, and you can raise that left leg off the mat. And then release in, raising right leg. And releasing, raising that left leg off the mat. And then you can release, and then dropping those knees, and then we can come into Balasana. So just coming into a child's pose. You can take those arms out beside you and just resting that forehead just onto the mat. And just hold here just for a few breaths. And slowly start to rise as you're taking those hands up towards the top of the mat, uncurling the toes and coming back into your Adho Mukha. So we want to come back into your down dog. So again, options, you can bend the knees, you can jump the feet up towards the top of the mat, coming back into a seated position, or you can just walk the feet, coming back to a seated, and just giving those, you just give those legs a shake. And then just slowly start to come onto your back and just giving those legs a shake. And then placing those feet hip distance apart. So you take those arms in line with the shoulders as you exhaling, keeping those feet hip distance apart. Just letting those knees come over to your right side. We want to look over towards our left hand. and then slowly start to come back to center, and then exhaling, let both knees come over to your left side, and we want to look over towards our right hand. And we just hold here just for a few more breaths. And then inhaling as we're coming back to center, and we're bringing both knees into the chest, and we can just rock gently from side to side. And then placing both feet back onto the mat, and we just want to roll over. We just want to roll over onto our bellies. So if you have any lower back sensitivity, we just want to keep the feet hip distance apart and just rocking gently from side to side. And then we're back to center. So from here, we want to take the palms of the hands. We just want to rest them underneath the thighs. So the feet will stay hip distance and the chin will just rest onto the mat. So we want to take our full exhale. On our next inhale, we're going to lift the legs. We're going to lift the chest off the mat and just keep gazing straight ahead. So you still want to keep that length through that neck. And then exhaling, we release, bringing big toes touching, resting that right ear into the mat. The arms will come up beside, and we just rest here. And then just taking that chin back onto the mat, keeping the feet hip distance apart, and the hands will come out beside the hips, so the palms are facing inwards. So taking another exhale. And on your next inhale, you want to start to raise the chest, the arms and the legs will come off the mat, and just keep that length into that neck, and you just want to gaze, just gazing straight ahead. And staying here for another breath, and then exhaling as we release, resting that left ear, taking the arms up beside, and you're going to keep the big toes touching. And then just bringing that chin back onto the mat, taking those hands just underneath the shoulders. We can uncurl the toes onto our hands and knees. And again, we start to roll those hips clockwise, back to center, and then we can come anti-clockwise. And then we can come back to center as we exhaling into our balasana. So we want to come into our child's pose. And you can bring the palms of the hands together and just resting your forehead just onto the mat. And start to relax the body, start to relax the mind, letting go of any thoughts, just letting them go. And we just hold here just for a few breaths. And then inhaling, we're coming back onto our hands and knees, placing the hands onto the mat, uncurl the toes. We're coming back into Adho Mukha, so we want to come back into our down dog. And again, you can come onto the balls of the feet, or you can pedal the feet out. So just letting that body guide you. And then we can just meet back into Adho Mukha. We can meet back in downward dog. And we just want to hold here just for a few breaths. And just staying here. And then releasing the knees onto the mat. And again, we're coming back into our seated position. And we can just give those legs a shake. So from here, so we can bringing both feet back onto the mat. So taking the hands, and as we exhaling, we just want to take that left leg up behind. So we want to keep that right knee bent. And we want to take that left hand onto our right knee. We can take the right hand behind our lower back as we exhale. Again, we want to look over towards the right shoulder, keeping the shoulders relaxed, and start to exhale into the belly. And you might find that you might just be able to just twist a little bit further. And then we can come back to center. And this time we come onto our right side, onto the right knee, and we can take the palms of the hands onto the ground, onto the mat. If you have more open, you can come onto the elbows, and we just want to come forward. So again, always listen to the body. So if this is where you're at, if this is where your body allows you to stay, this is the spot where you need to stay, and just breathe. And we just stay here just for a few more breaths. And then inhaling, we're coming back to center. And again, we can take those feet hip distance apart. We want to move them onto our left side. So we take that right leg up behind us. So we keep that left foot into a 45 degrees. So right hand onto left knee, left hand comes behind our lower back. As we exhale, we just want to look over towards our left shoulder. Again, just keeping them relaxed, and start to engage the belly. Staying here for another breath. And then we can release the stretch. And then just walking those hands over towards the left side. So you can either come onto the palms of the hands, or you can just come onto the elbows. And we just want to come forward with the chest. So we just hold here just for a few breaths. Never force the posture, and just relax into it. And then slowly start to walk those hands in towards you. So you can lift those legs, giving those legs a shake. So taking those arms up beside you, so inhaling, we can reach arms up to the ceiling. So we want to hinge with the hips. Just resting the hands just onto the feet. So it depends on your flexibility. You can have them onto the toes, ankles, shins, or just the knees. And we just want to come forward, keep the shoulders relaxed. And we just hold here just for a few breaths. Taking those long, smooth, steady breaths. And then releasing, and start to walk those hands back in towards you, giving those legs, give those legs a shake. And again, we can slowly start to come back onto our backs. And we can bring the soles of the feet together. And again, the options, you can either take those arms behind you, you can take hold of the opposite elbows, or you can rest one hand onto your belly, you can rest one hand onto your heart center, or you can place those arms out beside you with the palms facing upwards, and then you can just gently, you can start to close your eyes and just feel the body relaxing. Keep that mind relaxed. And we just want to stay here just for a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, and just only in your own time, And start to release those legs out in front of you. So we want to come into our Shavasana. So we just want to come into our final resting pose. So keep the body relaxed onto the mat. Keeping the spine, back of the shoulders, back of the arms, the hip area, keeping those legs, back of legs, feet, letting those feet just open up naturally. And you can just gently start to close your eyes. Taking a long inhale through the nose and taking a long deep exhale. Taking another long inhale through the nose and taking a long deep exhale. And taking another long inhale through the nose and taking a long deep exhale. So you just want to come back into the natural rhythm of the breath. As you start to bring your awareness back into your surroundings, as you start to bring your awareness back into the room, and as you start to bring your awareness back into your body. So move fingers, moving toes, and then you reach those arms overhead. So you just want to give the body an awakening stretch. And then we just want to draw those knees into the chest, so giving those knees a hug, and then just gently start to roll over onto your right side. And we just stay here for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to make your way back up. So you can either come into your cross-legged seated position or whatever's comfortable for you. And we just want to bring our hands back into our heart center, and we can just gently start to close our eyes. And just reflecting back onto your practice and how you felt before you started the class and how you're feeling right now, how the mind is feeling more calmer, the mind is feeling more focused and more peaceful, and the body is feeling lighter, more energized and more grounded. So you just want to rub your hands together. So you just want to create that warmth, and then you can just gently, you can place those hands just over the face. And then bringing your hands into your heart center, so rubbing hands together, so just creating that warmth, and then you can just place in your hands wherever your body might need it. And then just placing your hands back into your heart center. So we just stay here just for a few more breaths. And just a reminder that yoga is a journey, so it's a lifetime journey. So we never stop learning. So it doesn't matter if you're flexible, it doesn't matter if you're inflexible. The rewards will always be there end of each class. And the more you practice, the more benefits you'll see. And everyone will experience different benefits. And some days your mind will be different, and other days your body will be different. And that's just all part of the yoga journey. And yoga brings a sense of balance into our bodies, into our minds, and into our spirits. So just bowing forward and just honouring yourself for your practices today. And sometimes the biggest challenge is just rolling the mat out. So just allow that feeling of calmness and peacefulness. Let it carry throughout the rest of the day and into the evening, or into the evening and into the rest of the next day. And then just bowing forward, namaste.